Hello, it's Chinyere here. In today's class, I'm going to be teaching you how to find quadratic equation by factoring, also known as quadratic equation by factorization method. I'm going to be making it super easy for you. Without further ado, let's start learning. Today, I'll be teaching you quadratic equation by factoring or factorization method. So let's take a look at some examples. In this first example, let's observe the terms we have. We have the variables, we have these 36 and we have 0. If you observe, you're going to see that we have perfect square here. The x is a perfect square and the 36 is a perfect square. So we'll simply use the difference of perfect square technique. So what we are going to do is to find what? The square root of x squared is x. And the square root of 36 is 6. So we put a 6 here too, and we put the sign here, okay? So now that we've gotten this, we equate each of them individually to 0. So we're going to have x plus 6 equals to 0, and x minus 6 is equals to what? 0, okay? So x plus 6 equals to 0. By the time this moves to the 6 moves to the right hand side, it's going to become negative. So we're going to have x equals to 0 minus 6. X is equals to what? Minus 6. Now let's take a look at this one. We are going to have what? X minus 6 equals to 0. X equals to what? 6. Okay, so let's take a look at the second example. Okay, what we're going to do, let's find the common factors here, since the 256 is not a perfect square, though the 4 is. So we're going to divide. When we do that, we're going to have 4 divided by this. We're going to have y squared. And when we divide it by this, we're going to have 64. Okay? Now we've gotten to this stage. The next thing we are going to do, since we have a perfect square, we can express it like we did in the first example. So we're going to have 4y minus 8. Okay, finding the square root of each of them. And then we have y plus 8 equals to what? 0. So now we've gotten this, we simply do the same thing. Y minus 8 equals to 0. Y plus 8 equals to what? 0. Y is equals to 8. That's solving for this one. And then for the second one, y plus 8 equals to 0. So what we simply do is say y is equals to, this 8 moves to the right hand side. We are going to have what? Minus 8. Okay, so let's take a look at more complex example. Looking at this example, you notice the variable has a perfect square and 25 too. So we simply find the square root of both the variable and the number before the variable, which is the coefficient. Now, the square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of x squared is x. The square root of 25 is 5. So we are still using the difference of perfect square technique. So we do the same thing here. We are going to have this equals to 0. 4x minus 5 equals to 0. The next thing we are going to do is 4x equals to, once this crosses to this side, it becomes positive, plus 5. Divide both sides by the coefficient of x. So we have x is equals to what? 5 over 4. Now let's take a look at this one. 4x plus 5 is equals to 0. 4x is equals to minus 5. Divide both sides by 4. We're going to have x is equals to minus 5 over 4. So what about something like this? In this place, we have a trinomial, okay? To solve this, the first thing we are going to do is to multiply these terms. By the time we do 2p squared times 3, we are going to have 6p squared. So the next thing we are going to do is to think of the two possible factors, two numbers that when we multiply those two numbers, we are going to have 6p squared, and when we sum up those numbers, it's going to give us plus 5p. So let us list out our possible factors. So taking a look at these factors, which do you think is correct? We are going to be going with this, because by the time we say 3p times 2p, we get 6p squared, and by the time we sum it up, if we say 3p plus 2p, we get 5p. All right, so what we simply do is to replace 5p with this. So we're going to have 2p squared plus 3p plus 2p plus 3 equals to what? 0. Okay, the next thing we are going to do, let's find okay, let me rearrange this. 2p plus 3p, 2p plus 3p. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to what? Look for the common factors. Like in this place we have 2. The common factor for the numbers is 2, and then we still have p squared and p. Our common factor here is p. Okay, we open up the bracket. We are going to say 2p squared divided by what? P. Remember, p squared is same as p times p. Okay, so when we do that, this go here 1, this go here 1. We are going to have p. Okay, plus 2p divided by p, we are going to have what? 1, plus the next thing, we come to this place. When we come here, we are going to find the common factor. Okay, the common factor here is what? 3. 3p divided by 3 gives us what? P. Then 3 divided by 3 gives us what? 1. That's plus 1 equals to 0. Now by the time you get to this stage, observe the numbers in the bracket. They must be the same. If they are not the same, that means there could be a mistake for somewhere. But since we have p plus 1 here and we have p plus 1 here, that means we are on track. Okay, so what we simply do, we pick one of these. P plus 1 equals to 0, and we pick this 2p plus 3 equals to 0. P plus 1 equals to 0. P is equals to what? Minus 1. Okay, and then we have 2p plus 3 equals to 0. We're going to have 2p equals to minus 3. Divide both sides by 2. By the time we divide both sides by 2, we're going to have p is equals to what? Minus 3 over 2. Okay, how about when we have something like this? Okay, so what we do here is to arrange this to become a proper trinomial. Okay, so we are going to be moving this 6 to the left hand side. So when we move, we are going to have 6x squared plus 7x minus 5 equals to 0. So when we do that, we multiply these two. When we multiply them, we are going to have minus 30x squared. Okay, then we are going to think of two numbers that when we multiply them, we are going to get minus 30x squared, and when we sum them up, we are going to get plus 7x. So let's list the possible factors. We have x and 30x, 2x, 15x, and we have 3x and 10x. Okay, and we have this 3x and minus 10x. So let's look at these. Which one do you think we can go with? We'll definitely go with this one. Okay, because by the time you say minus 3x times 10x, it gives us minus 30x, and when you say minus 3x plus 10x, you equally get plus 7x. So what we simply do, we replace 7x with what? Minus 3x plus 10x. So here what we do, find the common factors here. The common factor for 6 and 3 is 3. The common factor for x is what? X. Alright. So by the time you say 6x squared divided by 3x, this cancels out. 3 go here 1, 3 go here 2. You'll be left with 2x. So we write 2x, and then you have minus 3x divided by 3x. When you divide, you have what? Minus 1. To this side, 10 and 5. What's the common factor? The common factor here is what? 5. So we are going to have 10x divided by 5. When you do 10x divided by 5, you're going to have 2x. And when you say minus 5 divided by what? Sorry, this is 5. Minus 5 divided by what? Plus 5. When you do that, you're going to have what? Minus 1. Minus divided by plus gives you minus, okay? So you can see we're on track. The next thing we do is to what? Select them. We are going to pick one from here. We're going to have 3x plus 5 equals to what? 0. And 2x minus 1 equals to 0, okay? So we are going to have 3x equals to what? This crosses to this side. We have what? Minus 5. Divide both sides by 3. So we have x is equal to minus 5 over 3, okay? So let's take a look at this one. We have 2x equals to, this crosses over to this side. We have what? Plus 1. Divide both sides by 2. By the time we divide both sides by 2, we're going to have x is equals to 1 over 2. So this is it on solving quadratic equations by factoring. If you got value from this video, please hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell to be notified whenever I upload videos like this. Give me a thumbs up, share with friends and loved ones, and don't you ever forget, maths can be easy. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.